Welcome to the Freelance Unlocked Behind the Scenes series, where I'm showcasing the amazing people who will be at a Freelance Unlocked Conference, the first and the best conference for freelancers that it made with love, and it'll take place in Berlin on May 14th, 15th, 2025. If you are a freelancer in Europe, it's an event made for you to learn, exchange experiences, and build your network of great freelancers and experts who move the freelance economy forward. So go to freelanceunlocked.com and grab your ticket right away. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Freelance Unlocked, and my guest is Nick Lawitzke, a director in consulting at KPMG Switzerland with focus on HR, leadership, and change, and who is also an active coach and speaker with expertise in culture and team effectiveness. So, hello, Nick.
Yuri, good to meet you.
Happy to talk to you even before the conference. Can't wait to meet you at the conference. But tell me, how are you connected with the freelance world?
Well, in my career, I was mainly working in consulting and as an advisor. I had several stops, right? Several career stops, and like between stops, but also sometimes for a longer period, I was working as a freelancer. I was even starting my career as a freelancer. During my masters in Berlin, I was already like helping clients to do transformation work, to also run a couple of internal projects as a freelancer. So I have several years working as a freelancer in the last 10 years.
For you, what was the main difference between finding a freelance project and a full-time job?
For me, it was not a big difference because consulting is always focusing on clients, like also seeing and understanding the challenge of a client, of the project, how to make it impact, right? And for me, it doesn't matter so much if I'm doing it like for a company as like a fixed contract or like as an employment contract, an employment contract, or if I'm doing as a freelancer, right? Also, that's what I would recommend. Also, people don't like go so much into your role of like external, internal, and so on. In the end, it's mattering what is your impact, right? What is your outcome? That's I think important.
Got it. So give me a sneak peek into what you'll be talking about on the Freelance Unlock stage.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. So it will be about micropolitics and power fights in organizations. I have chosen this topic because I know that like many people, especially freelancer, working like with organizations within different teams, team structures, having like a special role also. And I think it's something we all have to deal with. So it's about the politics in an organization, and so that's why I will talk about this.
What does it mean, micropolitics?
So there are different definitions, right? In the end, it's like behaving and doing actions for a certain reason. Usually, like in communication, in decision making, also in fighting for something in that sense, to achieve something. In an usual matter, it's like achieving something good for you, I would say, right? So this is my definition of politics.
What is the difference for a full-time employee and a freelancer when they are working with the same company?
Mhm. As a freelancer, of course, you're more like the external, coming from the outside. Also, that's the expectation regarding the freelancer, bringing in like expertise from other companies, insights, benchmarks. So you are seen more as the one as an expert. And not so one who's really like implementing this change. Sometimes also you are part for longer of a team or of an organization. So then you maybe feel even as like an internal, as an employee. But regarding politics and power fights, I would say definitely when you are internal, when you are like a fixed contracted, you have to deal more with stakeholder management, right? You have to find your position. You have to see how to achieve, your goals. Of course, as a freelancer, you also have to achieve your goals, but there's a clear scope. There's also like a clear target, budget, etc. You have these sometimes not that much and that hard as an employee.
So when you are talking about fighting, usually it means that someone is losing, someone is winning. So in corporate setting, what is the win for a freelancer?
It's great that you asked this, right? Because micropolitics also and politics in an organization is like usually understand as like something negative, right? It's something like as you said, who needs to win, who needs to lose, what I'm fighting for. So I would say this is not the reality. So we need to also understand when we as humans work in an organization, and this is what an organization is existing for, then we need also to accept and understand that it's usually to have processes between the humans, and this is like standing for something, want something, give something, like, and this comes with communication. This comes with decisions, with actions, yeah, with also like dealing with these human behaviors, and then also we truly need to accept that the politics is part of the game. Yeah, I would say power fights, because a fight is usually something you need to win or you need to lose, is a bit different. That is really what you can even see, right? Politics is, I would say, also more intimacy, right? Something even like between the lines, or which you maybe not see at the beginning.
So you talked about relationships and about the stakeholders. So I'm curious, what should freelancers do when they join a new project, a new team? How can they build strong relationships with internal stakeholders, and how to make some allies to ensure that they are moving in the right direction and really giving value, not to just the project they're working on, but also to the people around them?
For sure, it's, as you said, right, stakeholder management, which also includes doing your homework and like figure out what your key stakeholder, your focus group, your like your buyer, maybe also the person who's working with you. What are their needs, right? What are their favorites? Like what is what they want? Do they also do some sports? Are they like more the cool guy? Is it like more somebody who wants to also just talking about work and wants to have it separately, work and life? Like, is it somebody maybe you can go for a beer or like for dinner? Like, I think to understand, to get a good feeling also of a person is very, very important, and then to connect with this person. And of course, I can say, yeah, meet this person, right? Talk to this person, but that's too easy. So really, like, get a sense of how to crack this person, and also your customer, your client wants to feel is trust, that like she can trust you. So build this trust with actions, with also with quality, right, of deliverables, of outcomes, but also show them how you care. So there's a quote, right? People don't care until they understand how much you care.
Hmm.
And if you show them that you're going the extra mile, that you believe in them, that you're giving them something before you even get something back, this is usually how you build trust. And as an external who maybe doesn't have this long time for connecting, it's very important, like, to show what you invest in the person before you even get something back.
Sometimes I'm here that freelancers do not want to be included in all this politics. Like, oh, I don't want to be like in this hierarchy or whatever. I just want to do my job and that's it. But
Mm.
it sounds like it's not the case.
I would not agree with that. No, I mean, there are some roles, there are for sure some positions, projects for a freelancer where you deliver a concept, where running a due diligence, where you do your work on paper, right? You present it, and then you're out. This is for sure there. When we're talking about like a long-term collaboration, also long-term work relationship with the client, I would say there's always coming up the topic of negotiations, politics. Yeah, also people. Some people maybe in the company want you. Some others they say no, we don't need externals, we don't need freelancers. Some other want to hire somebody because they want to own a team and not just having like budget for a freelancer. So usually, the longer you work as a freelancer, the more also you have to deal with politics and power.
And I believe that in different companies, power structures differs. So how can freelancers quickly assess what's happening and how, like, what is the best way for them to understand what to do next?
Yeah, it's interesting because I have also seen like freelancers saying they don't want to work with a client anymore. They don't accept projects from a client because it's too much power fights. It's too much about like the big balls. It's too much discussions about like people in boxes and not really about the content, the impact, the outcome. So there are definitely some organizations where it's like more or less politics. Also very strong connection to culture, right? If you have an organization culture which is very open, very like collaborative. Usually, like organizations have like large organizations, but also fast-growing organizations. They have the topic of business units or teams not working together, which is also coming up then with politics, right? If they're not working together, that means they are hiding, they are like collecting people, they don't want to share budget, resources, knowledge, and so on. So definitely, you see from organization to organization is different. I would not say, and I haven't seen studies where it shows like in certain industries there are like is more power fights or micropolitics or like there's a size where you always have this. What I can say is, or what I see in practice is like startups usually don't have this when they are like of course starting in the pioneer phase, when they are like growing, everything is great at the beginning, right? Everything is cool. They are like a family. Also, they call themselves usually also family, or they have a family culture, which is very also risky, by the way, but it's another topic. So I would say it is not connected to like size, industry, etc., or like product. It's like more leadership. It's like culture. It's like how you grow, how you set this up. So different factors. How you open also your environment within the organization for letting this be, right. Yeah, having the growing grass for politics and power fights.
I talk to freelancers, but also to full-time employers, and what I hear the main of the differences while working is that freelancers are more honest and open if something goes wrong. Because when you're a full-time employee, you have to think about, can I say that? Because you can have like problems long term. But if you're a freelancer, you're working on a project, yeah, worst case scenario, you'll be out of project and okay, whatever. But how can freelancers tell about that something, that sees that something is going wrong or disagree with something without damaging relationships they've built?
It's a good question. What I see, what makes a successful consultant or freelancer, external, makes a good like advisor in that sense for like a client is definitely being open but being polite. Using also a couple of tools when you share feedback, when you share observations. That you always connect, for example, your observation with a specific example, what you have seen, also that you share what was your feeling in that sense. Also like use the formula for what just coming from your perspective and not in general topics. So definitely using like the general communication tools you have learned also as a freelancer. And when you're talking about assess and understand and like pointing out, it's like being very like having the attention, being aware of these things, right? So also what I will talk about in my presentation is like how can you like what are typical behavior we've seen, right? What are typical situation where politics comes up? So if you see this as a freelancer, right, you need to decide: do you need to be part of this, right? Do you need to be part of this game, of this conversation, or can you stay out and let it go, right? Or let it flow in that sense, because you are not part of the system directly. So I think here first, yes, assess, then interpret, but then also making the decision and act, how much you want to be involved. Because when you decide, for example, to share your observations or your feelings with your client or your buyer, you are automatically within this process, right? Within this system. If you just take it and yeah, you maybe not talk about this, you will stay away. But do you really build trust? Do you really like having the impact you really want to have? This is always the decision you need to make by yourself.
I feel like it's a really, really big topic, and it's definitely not just a small part. And I believe that you will tell much more at the Freelance Unlocked conference. And before that, if someone got stuck in this power fight, what is one small step they can take right away to get unstuck?
Mhm. Difficult to say this one step to get out. There are different situations, different steps, different actions you can take. What helps, definitely talk to somebody like who's maybe not part of the system, explain the situation and also like how you feel. Also what do you want, what do you want to achieve, like how maybe also your idea is to get out of it and then share it with somebody or with some more people. And usually like other freelancers, consultants, sparring partner, former like people manager, supervisors, they they can like give a perspective on that because they're not part of that organization, which helps also to come up with the right decision. So this is something, and within the organization where it happens, I would say be transparent and say what you see, what you feel, and that you're not feeling well with that, right? That you're not being part of it because you're an external or you're a freelancer, and you would like to focus on your expertise or on your outcome.
I feel like that's something freelancers are usually having problems with is asking for help. So
Hmm.
ask for help. Go to a
Hmm.
community, go find someone to talk to and ask for help. It's okay. And Nick, I wish to have the sky as the limit, but time is the limit. So the final
Hmm.
question. What is your quick take on the freelance economy and how will it develop in the near future?
I think it will develop much more, right, than the last years. I mean, even for 5 or 8 years, I saw studies and I saw that more and more corporates, more and more companies working with freelance. And, also now with the stage of having AI everywhere and like talking about technology everywhere, like freelancers are even more needed, working for several companies, for helping like several clients at the same time. Also, we will have a shortage of workforce in the future, right? And we can only like fill this gap with also turning this system around from everyone needs to be employed to like I have maybe even 50% of my workforce with freelancer staffed, right? Project based, network based. So this is why I think the freelancer system is definitely a big part of our future employment system.
Got it. And what would you say to your friend if they asked you whether they should go to the Freelance Unlocked?
Hmm. Definitely, of course, I would say try it out. Let's see, what will you find there. But I go for networking, right? For meeting interesting people, for getting also some thoughts for food for thoughts. So definitely, I would say, yeah, welcome to go and then check the program out, and then you will see if it's interesting for you or not.
And what is the best way to connect with you even before the conference?
Feel free to connect via LinkedIn, right? Or like reach out to you, and then there will be a connection with me. But I guess LinkedIn is the usual way.
Nick, thank you so much. I feel like it's a very, very important topic of how to freelancers can communicate and work with other people, especially in a remote setting when you're sitting, you're by yourself in front of the computer and you don't have people around you. So it's super, super important for people to know how it works and what to implement. So I can't wait to see and listen to your speech and yeah, see you very soon in person.
Thank you. With you there.
Thank you very much. And for those who listen, I hope you learn from Nick's experience and say thank you to him in person at the Freelance Unlocked conference on May 14th, 15th, 2025 in Berlin. So go to the freelanceunlocked.com, grab your ticket and meet you there.